Well, hello there, and my time, it's the morning. I'm sitting in the UK on a very cold and frosty January morning. The sun is shining, but my thoughts are turning to the spring and getting gardens sorted out. And my particular specialist area, my name is Russ, by the way. Nice of you to watch this video. My particular specialist area is Japanese gardens, and I run the internet's biggest blog. I've got a number of websites about Japanese gardens, and we've set up a new one recently which is about design and landscaping for Japanese gardens. An awful lot of people are interested in, which is great. But it's quite a tricky subject to get your head round, and like anything in life, if you're going to do it properly, then make sure you do it properly and don't cut corners. So we've set up a website that is called makingajapanesegarden.com, and that's got fantastic information on there for you, as you probably know because you visited it, and the reason I know that is because you're watching this video. So welcome. Now then, I'm sitting here in my office surrounded by papers and books and what have you, but most of them right now are on the subject of Japanese gardens, because I'm doing something quite exciting that I want to share with you a little bit later on. There is no doubt in my mind Japanese gardens are the most beautiful types of gardens in the world. They are totally unique, they are really, really interesting, and they are truly inspiring as well, as you will know if you visited one. On the left hand side of the slide that you're watching at the moment on the video is a very green, precisely planned Japanese garden, and that's something that a lot of people really find very attractive, and so do I must say. On the right is what is called a strolling garden, and that is designed for people to walk around, hence the name, and take in different views from different areas where there will be little spots where you can stop. And quite a lot of the world's biggest Japanese gardens are strolling gardens. So I take it because you're watching this video, not only are you interested, which is fabulous, but you're interested in maybe making your own Japanese garden. So let me run you through some of the essentials. Like any subject, a little bit of studying, and I'm not talking about going back to school or anything, is worthwhile, because as I said at the beginning of the video, if you want to do something, make sure that you do it properly. And Japanese gardens are a perfect example of that. They are modern, they are stylish, there is no doubt about that, and they're steeped in many hundreds of years, if not thousands of years, of history. And if you take some time to learn about the history of Japanese gardens, all the little bits of the jigsaw start to fall into place. They actually originated in China. Now, the great news is if you want to make a Japanese garden, any size space is good. So that means if you've only got a small yard or garden, it's fine. If you've got a medium space, that's fine too. And if you've got an enormous space, obviously that is perfectly okay as well. You can make a Japanese garden in a yard or a small garden. You can section off a little bit of your garden and turn it into a little sort of Japanese haven where you can go and relax and meditate and take it easy and enjoy the views and the tranquility and the serenity. You could do it with a rockery, because there are Japanese rock gardens as well, and you can even do it on a rooftop. A lot of people have very small Japanese gardens that I've seen all over the world, actually on very, very tiny roof spaces. And particularly popular for this kind of space is a Zen garden, which is one of those where you see carefully placed rocks, and you would see sand that has been raked to make it look like water, and minimalist use of plants and shrubs and what have you, which is quite rare in Zen gardens, but you are allowed, you know, to mix and match. I mean, it does make me laugh when I go on the internet and read what some of the more, what's a polite way of putting it, professional Japanese garden designers and enthusiasts say. If you try and say to them, look, you know, a Zen garden is a really good form of Japanese garden, they almost look at you as if you're some kind of a witch or something and you don't know what you're talking about. But the reality is that it's a free world. You've got free will. You can do what on earth you want, and I support that totally. Zen gardens are just as good as Japanese gardens. So what can you put in your Japanese garden? Or perhaps it should be better said, what are you expected to put in a Japanese garden? Well, there's rocks. You can use lots of those. There's stones. You can use them simply or in very specific ways. There's water. There's dry water. That's the raked sand to give a kind of water effect. Ideal, as I said, for rooftops and what have you, or small spaces, a patio. Ponds. We've seen a couple of pictures of Japanese gardens with rather large ponds. You can make really small ones. You don't have to think big. Bridges, buildings, stone lanterns. The amount of garden centres now, particularly in this country, and I'm sure it's the same all over the world, that have Japanese stone lanterns, which really do look beautiful. And you can buy them really quite cheaply. You can make walkways. The list goes on and on. So you should be getting quite excited now and beginning to perhaps have a little picture in your mind of what you're planning to do. So what about the living things in Japanese gardens? Well, obviously there's trees, many types of those, shrubs, awful lot of those, plants. I mean, I've got a couple of beautiful pictures of Japanese gardens coming up in this video in just a minute where you will see all sorts of those type of things, and it's quite breathtaking. Bamboo is used a lot. Bonsai, which are miniature trees, as I'm sure that you know. Moss, yeah, that horrible stuff, moss that you spend most of the year trying to get rid of. In a Japanese garden, it really does look beautiful if used correctly, and I'll be sharing with you. In fact, I've done it on one of my websites, a really easy way to make moss in a controlled way, so it's not running riot all over your house and garden, and that's just for starters. So then you've got to think, well, okay, this sounds good, and I've seen several Japanese gardens, and I like that one, or I didn't like that one so much, and that one was really striking. What are the types of Japanese gardens? Well, there's quite a few, and there's quite a few variations too, but essentially they can go into the following categories: pond gardens, tea gardens, strolling gardens that I've spoken about already, karansui, which is a borrowing garden or a copying garden that mimics landscape but in miniature form, and quite often these are Zen influenced and feature dry water, but they really are beautiful. In fact, I've got to be honest with you, one of my favourite types of Japanese gardens. Zen influenced gardens, as I explained a little earlier in the video, and hill gardens where you can actually manufacture hills that look totally natural but in a much smaller form. I'm not talking about a 100-metre high hill or something like that. There'd be an awful lot of lorries bringing stuff to your yard or your garden, trying to help you build that. So the point that I'd like to make is that all these types of Japanese gardens can be made in really quite small spaces and medium-sized spaces and very, very large spaces. So what about the design rules? Well, to be honest with you, you need a thorough grounding on the design rules, because I keep going back to this. If you're going to do something properly, it's best that you learn about it and make sure that you do it properly. So we have a manual that would be the perfect grounding. It's kind of like a beginner's manual. A lot of people have used this and have been very nice about the contents. It's easy to download, and you can get your hands on it in minutes. If you go to our website, www.japzengardens.org. But I can tell you 3 things that a Japanese garden and its design must have, and that is a feeling of serenity, which should appeal to you, certainly an appearance of order. I'm sure that you know that the Japanese are a very, very ordered people and culture, and that's why it's reflected in their gardens. And you should be able to go and have total tranquility as well in a Japanese garden, which is one of the reasons I like them. So what you know and what you can learn is quite a lot when you're thinking about making a Japanese garden, and learning is what it's all about. It's not like going to school. This is something that you're interested in and that I would be delighted to help you with, and I can help you with. Study pictures to get ideas and get inspiration for what you want to do with a Japanese or a Zen garden in your space. The 2 pictures you're looking at now on the left-hand side is the Japanese garden in Monaco, and on the right-hand side is perhaps the most famous and the most beautiful Japanese garden outside of Japan. It's the one in Portland, Oregon, in the United States, that if ever you are in the vicinity is well worth a visit, and you can read an awful lot about it on my websites online. I'll give you those web addresses right now. So we've got a massive photo gallery that we're about to release online of over 100 Japanese and Zen gardens around the world, and it really would be worth, just sitting down and flicking through that, getting ideas, getting inspiration, just taking note of the little nuances and the design facets of Japanese gardens, and then you can get a little idea, beginning to formulate in your mind on what you want to do with your own chosen space. Now, if you go to www.japzen.wordpress.com, that is the internet's biggest blog on Japanese gardens. I'm very proud of that. I put an awful lot of work into it. There are loads and loads of pictures and advice and articles on all aspects of Japanese gardens on there. You name it, it's on there, and that's a promise. And also, there is the web address once again for our newest site for design and landscaping in Japanese gardens, www.makingajapanesegarden.com. Okay? So, make use of those websites and get an idea of how to implement your plan and your ideas. And once you've got that, do it. Don't just let the weeks and months go by. Get a plan of action and do it. Now, many people say to me, well, if I want a Japanese garden, can I do it myself? And the plain, honest answer is yes, you can. You can also get a professional in a Japanese garden designer or landscape gardener who will do everything for you and talk to you and communicate with you and decide what you want, and you give them instructions. I'm going to be honest with you, that will be pretty costly. But you can get the best of both worlds. And the way you can do that is to use our soon-to-be-released course that literally, when I've stopped talking to you right now, I'm going to be putting the finishing touches to, and it's going to be called An Introduction to Making a Japanese Garden. And it is going to be the first of its kind on the internet. And I'm very proud of that. It's been something that's been in my mind for a long while. And judging from the emails and posts that I get on my blog and generally from people interested in Japanese gardens and my newsletter subscribers, that is the information that people want. So I've come up with a product. And the Making a Japanese Garden course is going to include the following things: a number of instructional videos on Japanese garden design, landscaping, and specifically the methods. And we're going to include stuff like the history and the ingredients, the types of plants, shrubs, trees, how to make moss, for example, as I mentioned earlier. You will get information on the styles, the ingredients, all of them, by the way, the history and how-to instructions of what to do when you're making a Japanese garden. You will get our Japanese garden and Zen garden manual. I referred to that a little earlier. You will get a Japanese garden resource manual, but in audio format, which will match your MP3 player. If you've got an iPhone or iPod Touch or an iPad or a normal computer with Windows, it will work on that, and you can upload it to your MP3 player, or you can sit at home and listen to it, which would be nice. You're going to get a massive colour photo gallery of Japanese and Zen gardens from all over the world that, if I say so myself, I have lovingly put together. Plus, and this is a really great thing that I'm delighted we can bring you as part of the course as well, a design and landscaping lecture by Mr. K. Honda from the Japanese Horticultural Society. And this has got so much information in it and guidance that you will find it really, really helpful just on its own. And I'm so pleased that we've managed to be able to bring that to you as well. So I think you'll agree that is quite a package. So what do you do next? Well, I would like you to watch out for an email from me, because as soon as it's put together and available, I will send you an email. I will tell you once again what's in the course in more detail and give you an opportunity to actually get your hands on it and get going. Okay, it's going to be a mass, and I mean a mass, of really good information. This is going to be the stuff that the professional Japanese garden design and landscape people use, but you're going to get it for an absolute fraction of the price. So I'm going to be constantly updating our Japanese garden design website, www.makingajapanesegarden.com, over the coming weeks. So I'd like you to keep coming back, please, and enjoy all the free information that's on there. There is another Japanese garden video there. If you go to the top of the website page, you will see some tabs at the top, just like any other website. Click on the one that says video, and you can enjoy that free Japanese garden video there as well. That will give you lots more information information and whet your appetite. And there's lots of pictures on there as well, and a load of information. So thank you very much indeed for watching this video. Watch out for my email and get ready to get your dream Japanese or Zen garden underway.